Starting with a man who didn't just become wanted, he became the face of global terror. To criminals who built empires so powerful, they rivaled entire governments. To fugitives who vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but questions. And ending with one mystery so perfect, no one ever found the answer. These are the most wanted people to ever live. From masterminds hiding in plain sight, to outlaws turned into legends, to figures so dangerous, entire nations mobilized just to bring them down. Some ruled through fear, some through power, and some through pure unpredictability. Because being wanted wasn't just about crime. It was about impact. The kind that changes laws, builds agencies, and reshapes the way the world responds to danger. But here's the unsettling part. Taking them down didn't always end the story. Sometimes, it made them even bigger. So the real question isn't, how dangerous were they? It's, how do you stop someone when they've already changed the world? Let's start with the man who forced the entire planet to stand still, Osama bin Laden. And here's where everything starts to shift. Osama bin Laden wasn't born into chaos. He came from wealth, privilege, and opportunity in Saudi Arabia. A quiet student studying economics, nothing about him screamed global threat. But then the Soviet-Afghan War happened, and that's where the transformation began. He didn't just support the fight. He funded it, joined it, and built deep connections with the Mujahideen. That experience didn't just change him, it hardened his worldview. Soon, he wasn't just a participant. He became a leader. He formed Al-Qaeda, turning ideology into action, targeting what he believed were corrupt global powers interfering in the Muslim world. The 1998 embassy bombings were a warning shot, but 9/11? That changed everything. The world stopped. Air travel froze. Fear spread globally overnight. For nearly a decade, he became a ghost hunted across mountains, deserts, and intelligence networks, until one detail led to a compound in Pakistan. In 2011, Navy SEALs moved in. 40 minutes, that's all it took. He was buried at sea, but here's the uncomfortable truth. The man was gone, but the ideology didn't disappear. It spread, fractured, and evolved into something far harder to contain. Pablo Escobar. But wait, this next story? It's chaos on an entirely different level. Pablo Escobar didn't start as a kingpin. He started small, hustling stolen goods on the streets of Medellin. Then he spotted something most people missed, the explosion of cocaine demand in the 1970s. And instead of just joining the trade, he scaled it beyond imagination. We're talking global smuggling routes, millions of dollars a day, and a cartel that operated like its own government. The Medellin cartel didn't just exist, it dominated. His rule was simple, plata o plomo, take the money or take a bullet. And most people didn't get a second choice. When the Colombian government pushed back, Escobar didn't hide. He declared war. Bombings, assassinations, entire cities living in fear. It felt like the state was fighting a shadow it couldn't control. Eventually, the US and Colombia teamed up. The hunt turned brutal. Streets became battlegrounds. Then, in 1993, it ended fast. A rooftop chase, a desperate escape, and a final shootout. But here's the twist. His death didn't end the drug trade. It shattered it into smaller, more unpredictable pieces. Even today, his name still lives on in movies, shows, and stories that blur the line between criminal and legend. Al Capone. Now this part, it feels straight out of a movie, but it's very real. Al Capone started off as just another street guy in Brooklyn, working as a bouncer. One fight, one scar. That's how he got the name Scarface. But Chicago in the 1920s? That was his opportunity. Prohibition had turned alcohol into gold, and under Johnny Torrio, Capone learned fast. Violence mattered, but structure mattered more. When Torrio stepped down, Capone took over and built an empire. Bootlegging, gambling, prostitution. He controlled it all. And here's the wild part. He played both sides. Publicly, he was generous, opening soup kitchens. Behind the scenes, pure brutality. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre exposed everything. 7 rivals executed in cold blood. After that, the government had no choice but to act. Led by Elliot Ness, the pressure tightened. But they couldn't nail him for murder. So they got him on something smaller: taxes. In 1931, the most feared man in Chicago went down, not for violence, but for unpaid income. Alcatraz broke him, and by the time he got out, illness had already taken what power couldn't. Funny how it ends sometimes, right? The man who controlled a city, undone by paperwork. Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán. And just when you think escapes can't get crazier, Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán proves otherwise. Born into poverty in Sinaloa, he climbed through the Guadalajara cartel, not just with violence, but pure ingenuity. He changed the game with underground tunnels, fully built, ventilated, stretching across borders. That's how he built the Sinaloa cartel into a global empire. Arrested in 1993, it should have been over, but in 2001, he walked out, literally. Then in 2015, he escaped again through a tunnel dug into his prison shower. A massive manhunt followed, and oddly enough, a meeting with Sean Penn helped authorities track him. Captured in 2016, extradited to the US, and locked away for life. But here's the reality. Take one kingpin out, and the system keeps running. Josef Mengele. This next one, it's disturbing on a different level. Josef Mengele wasn't just a criminal. He was a scientist who turned people into experiments. Highly educated, he arrived at Auschwitz with absolute authority. One gesture decided life or death. But his real obsession? Twisted experiments, especially on twins and children. When World War II ended, he disappeared. No trial, no justice. He escaped to Argentina and Paraguay, always one step ahead of those hunting him. Even Mossad came close, but never close enough. For decades, he remained the most wanted Nazi fugitive. And then, it just ended quietly. In 1979, he drowned after a stroke while swimming. No courtroom, no punishment. Just a chilling reminder, some of the worst crimes never truly face justice. John Dillinger. Now, here's where crime almost looked heroic. John Dillinger rose during the Great Depression, when banks were already hated. Prison didn't fix him, it trained him. And once he got out, he went on a bank robbing spree that felt almost cinematic. People didn't just fear him, they admired him. A smooth-talking outlaw, embarrassing the system. He even escaped jail with a fake wooden gun. That's when J. Edgar Hoover stepped in, declaring him public enemy number 1. But legends don't last forever. Betrayed by the woman in red, Dillinger was gunned down outside the Biograph Theater. And just like that, the manhunt that helped build the FBI was over. Billy the Kid. And then there's the Wild West, where truth and legend blur completely. Billy the Kid started as an orphan just trying to survive. Petty crime turned into something bigger during the Lincoln County War, where he became a feared hired gun. Stories say he killed over 20 men, but reality? Probably far less. Still, the myth grew. Captured by Pat Garrett and sentenced to hang, he somehow escaped killing 2 deputies in the process. That moment turned him into a legend. But it didn't last. Garrett tracked him down, and one shot in the dark ended it. He died at 21. But the story? That never died. Blackbeard, Edward Teach. Now this one feels almost unreal. Blackbeard didn't just fight. He was terrified. Originally a privateer, he turned pirate after the war, capturing ships and building a floating empire. His flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, carried serious firepower. But his real weapon? Fear. He lit fuses in his beard during battle, surrounding himself in smoke like something out of a nightmare. At his peak, he controlled entire waters, even blockading Charleston. That forced the British to act. Lieutenant Robert Maynard tracked him down, and the final battle was brutal close combat, chaos, no escape. Blackbeard went down fighting. His head was cut off and displayed, but somehow, that only made him immortal. Ted Bundy. And this next story? It's the kind that makes you question people completely. Ted Bundy didn't look like a monster. He looked normal, smart, charming, even studying law. But behind that image was a calculated predator. He targeted young women, often pretending to be injured, using crutches or a cast to gain sympathy. Then came the disappearances, across multiple states. Patterns started forming, but he kept slipping through. Even after his arrest, he escaped twice. His final spree in Florida shocked everyone, and the trial, it became a media spectacle, with Bundy representing himself. In the end, one detail sealed it, a bite mark that matched perfectly. Executed in 1989. And his case? It helped define what the world now calls a serial killer. Jesse James. But not every outlaw was feared the same way. Jesse James became something closer to a legend. A product of the Civil War, he carried that violence into peacetime, robbing banks and trains with precision. But the media painted him differently, almost like a Robin Hood figure, and people believed it. Even after clashes with the Pinkertons and a family tragedy, sympathy stayed with him. A failed robbery in Northfield changed everything. His gang collapsed. And in the end, he wasn't taken down by the law. He was betrayed, shot in his own home by Robert Ford. That betrayal turned him into a myth. Adolf Eichmann. Now this one is chilling in a completely different way. Adolf Eichmann wasn't on the battlefield. He was behind a desk. But his role? Organizing the logistics of mass deportations during the Holocaust. Efficient, methodical, deadly. After World War II, he vanished, started a new life in Argentina under a false identity. But the hunt never stopped. In 1960, Mossad agents tracked him down, captured him in a covert operation, and took him to Israel. The trial exposed horrifying details to the world. His defense? He was just following orders. That's where the phrase banality of evil comes in. Ordinary people committing unimaginable crimes. He was executed, but the lesson stayed. Griselda Blanco. And just when you think the cartel world was dominated by men, Griselda Blanco proved otherwise. She started on the streets of Colombia, then moved into New York and Miami, right as cocaine demand exploded. But she didn't just participate, she innovated. Smuggling techniques, hidden compartments, she was ahead of the game. Her reign in Miami turned brutal. Motorcycle assassins, public hits violence became her signature. For years, the DEA couldn't catch her. She kept moving, changing identities, staying invisible. Until 1985, they finally found her in California. She served time, got deported, and years later, in 2012, she was killed the same way she operated. Cold, fast. Her legacy? Proof that power in that world doesn't care who you are. Whitey Bulger. And then there's a story that feels almost unbelievable. Whitey Bulger wasn't just running Boston's underworld. He was playing both sides. Leader of the Winter Hill Gang, he controlled everything from extortion to drug trafficking. But his real advantage? He was an FBI informant. That protection let him eliminate rivals without consequences. Until 1994, when everything nearly collapsed. Tipped off, he vanished, gone for 16 years. One of the FBI's most wanted, hiding in plain sight. Captured in California in 2011, his trial exposed everything. And his story? A brutal reminder that sometimes the system itself breaks. Carlos the Jackal. Now this one feels like a Cold War thriller. Carlos the Jackal was raised on radical ideology and turned it into global terrorism. Joining the PFLP, he made headlines in 1975 with the OPEC hostage crisis, holding world leaders at gunpoint. That moment made him infamous. For years, he moved between countries, protected by Cold War politics, a ghost with powerful allies. But when the Cold War ended, so did his protection. Tracked to Sudan in 1994, he was captured and taken to France. His story faded with the ideology he served, a relic of a world that moved on. D.B. Cooper. And finally, the one who never got caught. D.B. Cooper walked onto a plane in 1971 like any ordinary passenger. Calm, quiet, unnoticed. Then, everything changed. A note, a bomb threat, and a demand for $200,000 and parachutes. After landing, he let everyone go. Then, took off again. Somewhere in the night, over empty wilderness, he jumped. And just like that, he disappeared. The FBI searched for years. Nothing, except for some cash found later, raising even more questions. No identity, no answers. Case closed in 2016. The perfect crime, or the perfect mystery.